watched the Fiesta Bowl at home, and then when they came here to Ohio State, they were coming at the same time that the team was returning who played in the game, and so they lived through the pain and the things that you guys had to revisit and break down when they got back, and they felt like they lost the game too. And one of them even said that they almost cried while watching some of the stuff. Is that when you know you've got the right thing cooking here, when people that haven't even been here yet or weren't playing in the game are feeling the pain that you guys are feeling like it happened to them?
Yeah, I do, and I think that the way that we're recruiting right now, and like you said, there's a family atmosphere here right now, and I think these recruits and their families will see as time goes on, just like we talked about, they're going to be treated the same way they're recruited, and that we are recruiting this thing tight, and that you are a family. This is not, certainly is a business side to it, but it's not a business, it's a family, and we've been talking about that all along. And so even through the recruiting process, we start to recruit at such a young age that their relationships really builds over time, and it's, you're talking about years. Paris Johnson, we recruit him, Jackson Smith. These guys have been 2 years in, so certainly the relationship's gotten stronger as we've gotten into it. And so even when they come in here for their first day, the relationship's been building here for multiple years before they get here.
Right next door, Bill.
Ryan, along the lines of Kerry and Greg and those guys figuring out what works best for your defense, is that within the framework of the single high shell you guys did last year, or is that also adaptable if that's what your personnel dictates?
Yeah, we're definitely going to start off with, where we started, and then figure out what the adjustments are going to be from there. I think that was we played off each other really well. Last year, I think it's the right thing to do personnel-wise, but there's certainly things that we can do to adapt, to evolve as time goes on, for sure.
In this class, it seems like there are maybe more guys than usual you could look at and see a couple different positions for them in their future, whether that's some guys in the offensive line or in the secondary or linebacker. Is that by design to recruit guys who are versatile like that and might have different paths, or did it just kind of work out that way with this class?
You want to get the right fit. So first off, you got to figure out academically if it's the right fit. You have to figure out socially if it's the right fit, the family, the personality, the work ethic, all those things. And so then you start talking about football, and then you try to go, okay, get the best available. And if that means that somebody who's versatile, we'll figure that out. If it's something that's very specific and this is their job, then we'll recruit them too. Like DeJuan Jones is only going to play tackle. That's all he's going to play, and that's fine. That's good because he checked all those boxes along the way. But so much of it for us is the culture fit.
Does it change what your board might look like at all in terms of position? Like, say, just for instance, if you say we're light on defensive ends, we need defensive ends, but we recruit a kid like Mitchell Melton, for instance, who is a linebacker but could eventually project to that. Like, do you see him as filling that need, or do you have other guys like that in this class too who, well, maybe on paper don't look like they fill a need but could down the road?
Yeah, but for the most part, we bring them in. I think Cam's probably an exception for the most part. Mitchell is going to play linebacker for us, and most of the guys that we bring in for a certain role.
Front row right here, Austin.
Ryan, when Cam said that he needed more time and wasn't going to sign in December, how did you react to that?
Well, I totally understood. I talked about the continuity, and then I'm going to go hire the best coach I can in the country, and Kerry was my number one pick, and that worked out. In a place like Ohio State, you're going to have great coaches here, and I told him it's my job to make sure he has the best coaching he can possibly have, and that way that's what we're going to do. But at the same time, I told him if he needs to go look at other places, that he can do that. I said that I'm not going to like that too much, but at the same time, I respect your family enough that you can go ahead and go check some places out. And I never really ended up doing that, but I think he really understood that and respected the fact that we didn't hold him to the fire or anything like that. We said, listen, you want to go check out some schools, feel free. And once we get the secondary coach and coordinator in place, I know you're going to love it, and he did, and it all worked out.
You did that. You had to deal with that a little bit with Paris. Legend went through it. They're not all the same case, but some schools issue these ultimatums and stick by it. Why is this the approach that you go with?
Well, I think that I was talking to Kerry about this. When there used to be a time where at 7:01 you were checking the fax machine to see if things were coming through, and we weren't doing that with Cam because the relationship's been built. And I think in today's day and age, whether you sign or not, if the kid's not happy or doesn't really pick the school for the right reasons, he's going to enter the transfer portal and leave anyways. So it's not about just getting a kid to sign on the dotted line. It's not that way anymore. Now it's having trust and having the relationship with the family, and common respect for each other, that things are going to go in a certain way, and I think that's the way it is with Cam. I think that's the way it is with all the recruits, and that they know they're going to be treated the same way that they're recruited. I mean, treated the same way they're here as when they were recruited.
Front row middle, Joey.
Ron, you mentioned kind of at the top of how anticlimactic this day is. Since the early signing period coming, you signed 5 guys in February, 2 years ago, 2 last year, 1 this year. How much of a priority is it to build the class and have them all intact in December?
Well, I just think based on how many guys want to come at mid-year, I think that's important, and I think that's the trend. Although we don't really, prefer it one way or the other. If somebody feels like they want to be here there for their senior year, we don't put any pressure on them. That's their decision. But we also see the benefit of it, and being here and going through these mat drills and going through spring practice and being here for 6 months before you start preseason camp certainly helps. And so the more of those situations that we can have, the more those guys are going to have an opportunity to play. And as that is the trend, then we want to be on the front end of it. But I do think, like you said, that the December signing period has just kind of moved everything up, and that's really when everybody signs nowadays. I think the numbers are well over 95% of everybody signs.
Did that surprise you at all, like when this rule first came into effect?
Well, again, anytime you change a rule, I've learned this at a young age, that there's so many other things that come with it. There's a ripple effect of things that happen that you don't quite, know at that time. And, at the time we thought that, the guys who committed early would just, kind of sign. Maybe it'd be a third of them or maybe half at the most. I don't think anybody saw this many people signing this early. And
just one more, on one of the kickers, Jake Siebert, who signed in December, will he be on scholarship this year? Does he Glacier can come for the 85 this year?
Well, that'll just depend on how things go, but we do have some flexibility with that one.
Front row left, Nathan.
Just to clarify, Kerry is the only guy who'll have defensive coordinator with his title. Nobody else on the staff will have, as it was.
So Greg will be co-defensive
He'll still be
coordinator.
co-defensive
Yeah, so that
coordinator.
didn't change, but then as we brought Kerry in, we gave him the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you. Okay. We've talked a lot about Mookie and just kind of his size and how that's an asset there. Is there also sort of mentality that you feel like a slot guy needs to have, and how does he fit into that?
Yeah, he's, like you said, very versatile. He's an inside receiver who can operate in short areas, get that good burst, and, really good with the ball in his hands. We're hoping that he can do some returning for us and those type of things. But yeah, there has to be a toughness inside. When we look at the best slot receivers, there's an edge, there's a toughness in there, because they're going to have to catch the ball to the middle. They do most of their work inside the hashes. When you're dealing with safeties and linebackers, you're going to take some hits in there, so you have to be tough. And if he's going to motion to the backfield and do some of those things we have with Paris and those guys, we toss it to him on speed sweeps or hand it to him on different things. He's going to have to be a little bit like a running back as well, and reverses and those type of things.
Are you using Paris at both tackle spots right now, and is it tougher to bring a true freshman in like that and try to get him up to speed on both sides of the ball, or is there enough?
It's still too early for that, whether we start him at left or right, Stud will figure that out here as we get into March.
Front row right, Bill.
When Kerry was here the first time, he prided himself on, we only play or almost exclusively press man-to-man coverage. Obviously, you guys have gotten away from that to some degree. What's the understanding of the balance now with Kerry coming back?
So I think it's going to be a combination like it's been. I think there's just a lot of different things at play now. He certainly has 2 more years of experience in the NFL of different coverages, and what we've done, I think, with the cover 3 stuff has been really good for us, and we want to keep building off of that. But then, like you said, also diversify. And I think that there was a time where that was, that trend was really strong, and I think it's kind of gone the other way now. And so, again, if it's playing more man-to-man, we will, but we'll have to just kind of decide over the next month. And then as we get through spring ball, see how our guys are, see what fits, and go from there.
What kind of jolt is his personality given to the coach's room?
Jolt? Well, there's a lot less coffee right now in the building. Everyone's drinking like 4 cups of coffee a day, 4 pots of coffee a day. But you can hear him coming down the hallways. You can hear him outside. I said to somebody, he had more tweets and a hashtag in the first day than I had in the last month. He's out in front of it. But I think what happens, I think the guys, they really feel his energy. He's very positive, and the guys feed off of that.